As an international angler, I fish a lot with sliding wagglers. Floats where you're wanting to fish in depth sort of 10 foot and deeper, you have to use a sliding float. So the float is actually sliding on the line. And all I have a Drennan swivel link on the bottom of the float that's to a bead that slides up to a stop knot. So I've got a bulk of shot, the slider, the stop knot is above the actual bulk, so your float slides up to it. Now the stop knot itself, I'm going to show you how to tie the stop knot. I get loads of questions of how to actually tie the stop knot on the line. Now it's important to have the right main line for slider fishing. And I use either 6 pound for bigger floats or the 5 pound Drennan float fish for the smaller wagglers like the one I've got on today. So that's just something about the line. It's a line that's quite hard so that when you move the stop knot on it, it doesn't actually crinkle the line at all. Some lines, when you move a stop knot on them, it destroys the line. This is quite a hardy line, so it's perfect for slider fishing. So tying the stop knot, all I do, I get a piece of 6 pound line about 2 foot long. And I'll just move this stop knot that I've got on the line up out of the way. And to tie the actual stop knot, all I do, I double this line back on itself, so you're actually forming a loop. So I'm forming a loop with the 6 pound line. I then offer that up to the main line and trap the lot in my fingers. Right, the next thing, I then take the actual loop of line, one of the tails of the loop of line, and then I pass the other one around the lot. So I'm going round all of the line with the other piece of line 6 times. 5, 6 times. And then pass that piece of line that I've gone round through the loop. So what you can see then, you can see it's almost forming like a figure of 8 almost, that I'm pulling down onto the line. Now once you pull that down onto the line and start to tighten it up, always wet knots, even when you're tightening them up on a main line. Once I've tightened that down, I then, with my nails, get hold of knot and just tighten it up. So then you can see the stop knot then is on the line. Now the next thing is to trim it off. If you were to trim it off too tight to the knot, what had happened, that knot and the tails would catch in the actual rings on the rod. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to trim that off so there's about 5 or 6 centimetres above the actual knot. And once that knot's in place, then that knot will slide on the line with no problem whatsoever. But of course, your tails then will pass through the rings. If you were to cut them too short, they'd trap in the rings of the rod when you're fishing quite deep. So that's how to tie a slider knot for slider fishing.